Hello everyone, my name is Ticketman Zach, the founder of Ticket Notify, which is a community designed for ticket resellers where we provide you guys with all the latest market information like which events to target, seating selections, early access codes, all that good stuff. Overall, any support you may need. Before we begin, I want to make it clear that this video is strictly for educational and informational purposes only. Reselling tickets is a growing industry that many people are doing, and this video is purely to shine a light on this world so that we have a better understanding on how these markets work so that consumers and businesses around the world can make better informed decisions. I've done my own research, but you need to do your own research since the laws around ticket reselling vary depending on where you live. I talk more about this later on in the video, which is pretty important, but for now I want to make it clear that everything in this video, it's purely hypothetical. I do not condone ticket reselling in forms that may be illegal depending on where you live. So it's your responsibility to do your own research if you were to start reselling tickets. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the complete guide on how to make money reselling tickets, where you'll learn everything you need to know in order to be successful within the ticket reselling industry. This is a 3-part series where by the end, you'll have a comprehensive understanding on the ins and outs of this crazy world of ticket reselling. Today, in part 1, we're going to start off beginner friendly. We're just going to talk about what ticket reselling is, why it's so profitable. We're going to get you guys a feel of the Ticketmaster website and talk about the different kind of events. And then we're going to end off the video going over some healthy habits when it comes to venue selection so you can maximize your profits moving forward. So nothing too crazy today, guys, mainly just getting you guys a feel for this industry as we're laying out some good foundation for part 2 and 3 to come, where we're actually going to jump into the more advanced topics and actually see how the process looks like. For example, the Ticketmaster's queue and algorithm, right? That's going to teach us about the 2 kinds of events, the verified fan presale and the standard queue release. Going over everything all the way up to inevitably how and when you're going to sell your tickets. There's going to be timestamps available down below, but if you're a beginner, I recommend watching start to finish because there's going to be useful information in each topic. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so what is ticket reselling? I like to think of ticket reselling as an art form, okay? It's the art of buying tickets for an event when they first go on sale and then later selling them for a higher price. Now, this works due to the supply and demand dynamics. Events have limited seating capacities, and if the hype for an event exceeds the available supply, this creates a scarcity for us to step in and make money off the unmet demand. So in other words, if the hype for an event is more than the available tickets being sold, then we can sell our tickets for a greater price. For example, let's say Drake is doing a concert and the whole city wants to go, right? Let's say there are 25,000 fans wanting to attend the Drake concert. If the venue only has 10,000 seats, meaning only 10,000 tickets are being sold, not all the fans will be able to get tickets upon the release, meaning what they will have to do is buy other people's tickets who usually charge insane amounts. Now, this example was pretty extreme, right? Drake, he's a huge name artist, arguably like one of the most popular, 25,000 fans, only 10,000 seats. This example, it's just to explain things for the sake of the video, right? In real life, the numbers, they might be different if Drake were to sell tickets for one venue. But yeah, you don't have to be just looking out for these kind of events, right? We can make money on all types of events, right? Small artists and small venues, like table tennis games, like random shit, guys. Like, it really doesn't matter. And on top of that, the venue or event doesn't even have to sell out in order for us to make profit. This is where seating comes into play. Now, I wish I could give you a one-size-fits-all ideology for seating, but the reality is every event, every venue is different. There are so many things that go into how seating's laid out, right? The pricing, the type of event, how the venue's laid out. There are different sections and stuff. So I wish I could tell you one answer on this, but it's really gonna come with time. As you guys progress, you'll tend to know which seats do better. And each event is different, right? So that's something you gotta stay on top of. I don't want to confuse you too much, but yeah, that's another way we can make profits, right? Demand and supply and seating. Seating's very important. But yeah, right? It doesn't have to be a Drake concert. It can be a small artist. It can be like a comedy show, right? And it doesn't even have to sell out. The Drake example I gave is just pretty extreme. But yeah, people are always not going to get their desired tickets, whether if it's sold out, right? Are they didn't get the right seats, or some seats are too expensive, right? They want yours. It doesn't matter. Whatever the case is, they will pay a lot of money Now, it's worth mentioning that you won't always make profit when a show is sold out. I've had that happen before, and sometimes you will only make profit if you target the right seats. That's why, if you're in my Discord, right, we tell you which events are going to do well, as well as which seats and which section to target. Especially for the good events, right? There will always be people who didn't get their hands on desired tickets for whatever reason. These are the people paying 2 times, 3 times, upwards of 10 times the original price just to get their hands on tickets. And this is what happens when we look at sites and third-party marketplaces like StubHub, SeatGeek, Vivid Seats. These are all platforms for people to resell tickets on. If you go on StubHub and see an Ed Sheeran ticket go for $3,000, that's not how much it was originally sold for. That's the markup. That's how much they're reselling tickets for. So now that we know the basics about what ticket reselling is, we ask ourselves, well, why is it so profitable? There are so many reasons why this is extremely profitable, guys. They all kind of tie in together, but I'll start with number one, which is arguably the most important. What's number one, I guess? Guys, this is undersaturated, especially if you look at like other things like social media marketing, drop shipping, like all that shit's dead. It's so oversaturated, it's hard to make money. So this being undersaturated compared to the amount of profit you're going to make, which I'll get into later, it's like a gold mine. This is a relatively untapped niche. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ticket reselling has been growing tremendously this past few years, especially this past half year. But there's still so much ample opportunity for new people to jump in this market and see the same kind of success. Number two, ticket reselling is low risk. Now, the reason why I say this is because you'll always be able to sell your tickets. 95% of the time, you're going to be making profit on the events you go for, right? Especially if you go for the events that we tell you to. For the other 5%, let's say an event didn't go according to plan and your tickets aren't being resold for more than what you paid for. You'll still be able to sell your tickets. You just might have to list them for $10, $20 cheaper than what you bought them for. Being out left to dry is a misconception I see new people worry about when ticket reselling. Oh, well, what if I don't sell my ticket in time? Then I lose all the money. Like, guys, in this business, you'll never be left out holding the bag. You won't be sitting there with your tickets, not being able to sell them and then lose all your money. That doesn't happen. Fans are always going to be wanting to buy tickets up until the event starts. Even if you haven't sold your ticket for an event that's coming in 2 days, fans are still going to buy tickets last minute. So for example, let's say you have tickets for an event that's coming up in 2 days, right? You're lazy, you're stressing, and you waited till the last minute, you haven't sold them yet. Turns out you bought the tickets for $100 each, and for whatever reason, this event isn't profitable, right? So what you're gonna wanna do in this situation is list them for a bit less. Put your tickets up for like $90 on whatever marketplace, and I guarantee someone's gonna buy them. Yeah, you're gonna lose $10 per ticket, but that's a small price to pay for getting unlucky. Now, if you're really panicking, and you urgently need to sell your tickets, let's say that you're using StubHub. See what other people are selling their tickets for. You can just undercut by a little bit, right? If the cheapest listing on StubHub's for $90, put yours up as $88, right? I guarantee your tickets are going to sell like within the hour. You'll be surprised at how many fans plan last minute, right, to buy tickets the day before or even the same day of the event's going to happen, right? Like they might wake up if there's a concert and they get word that all their friends are going, right? The day of, they're trying to scramble, scouring the internet, trying to find tickets, right? And guess what? Yours is going to be the first one they're going to buy. Number three, the profit margins. It is insane how much you can simply just resell tickets for, especially with concerts. And this is why we love concerts, is that fans will pay ridiculous amounts to go see their favorite artists if they didn't get a ticket. It's not uncommon to see tickets being retailed for $200 and you sell it for, let's say, $450. That's not that uncommon. That's pretty standard. So you buy a ticket for $200 and you sell it for $450. That's $250 profit per ticket. And the best thing is that usually on Ticketmaster, you can buy upwards of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tickets per account. So if each ticket you're profiting $250, if you buy 4 of them, you're profiting $1,000. Pure profit, not gross sales. That's pure profit. And what people are doing is getting multiple accounts. So when people are getting 2 accounts or 3 accounts, with 2 accounts, you would get $2,000 profit. With 3 accounts, $3,000 profit, so on and so on. And that's only when tickets are being sold for $200 and you sell them for $450. It depends on the event. Sometimes there are way higher margins, which can be insane. And each event is different, right? There's going to be a plethora of events out there that have different expected profit ranges. So if you wanted to, you can only go for the big ticket ones. If you want to, eat up the ones where you're only making like a couple hundred, you can do that too. And this sort of brings me to the next point. There's always an abundance of popular events. Now, there are popular events popularly happening literally every week, all year round. Now, obviously, there are going to be some dry periods. Some weeks, maybe, there's not many good events, if not at all. But, there might be a dry month. But overall, there's always going to be enough material to keep you guys occupied. There are always going to be popular events happening all the time. And especially if you guys find your own, there's a lot of stuff to keep us busy. And this kind of ties into number 4, right? The market's not going anywhere. There are always going to be people wanting to buy tickets to go see, sports games. Playoffs is literally happening all year around. People want to go see their favorite artists all the time. Tours. You'll be surprised how many artists are going on tour. Like big names too that you're like, damn, I didn't know that they're still touring. So yeah, unless like a shock COVID flash wave comes and everything gets shut down, like there are always going to be events to go for. In my opinion, the biggest reason why all of this works in the first place and why ticket reselling is so profitable is because there are overpowered strategies or tips and tricks that us resellers can use that drastically increase our chance at getting tickets compared to the average fan. And this also ties into the idea that the average fan or average consumer has really no idea how to maximize their chances at getting tickets. And to further explain this, here's a clip of, I think, some Taylor Swift fans from a news article or something that kind of explains what I'm talking about.
Take me to day 1 of the pre-sale day.
Mine crashed immediately.
Trying hard to keep my morale high.
And then it finally pops up and loads, and it does the, there's 2,000 plus people in front of you.
What's going through your head at this point?
I'm kind of panicked.
First, there was the anticipation. But when the queue opened up to finally buy tickets for Taylor Swift's upcoming stadium tour,
No, what just happened?
her fans, the Swifties, went from freaking out
Are you joking? What?
to melting down.
The tickets you have selected have been released.
The line has stopped moving. The website fully crashed. I waited in line for like 6 hours.
Regardless of how hard that was to watch, this is the harsh reality we live in, guys, and I'm not even gonna try and sugarcoat it. That's how people out there are making so much money, because these are the people who are paying thousands of dollars to go see Taylor Swift or Coldplay. You see, the video I just showed you, that was for Taylor Swift. I remember this release. It used the verified fan presale. This event was huge. Everybody in my Discord remembers this one. We absolutely cooked. Each account made like 8 to 12K depending on which venue and which seats we bought. On one hand, I was there teaching my members how to use the proper setups to maximize their chances at getting these tickets. At the same time, you had people like this crying because they probably had multiple tabs open, using brand new emails. They were probably spamming buttons or having, multiple accounts on the same IP address. They were getting flagged by Ticketmaster left, right, and center. How it works, when it comes down to it, guys, it's a battle between you and the Ticketmaster algorithm. The Ticketmaster algorithm's not going to randomize who gets the tickets, who gets the codes or not, right? They take information about you and your sign up and how you're going about things, and that's how we use it to our advantage, right? That's how we make so much money, which that's what I teach in my Discord, right? That's what I'm going to be teaching you in, part 2 and part 3 of this guide. And the average customer, the average fan, right? The people you saw in that clip don't understand this. They don't know what is going on. And to be honest, they shouldn't have to. In an ideal world, fans shouldn't have to pay 5 racks to go see their favorite artist. These people, they got lives, they got school, they got work, they have their own personal lives. They're not going to fully understand the computers and the internet as much as we would. But at the same time, right, we are heading into a digital world, and there's huge incentives for people to resell tickets. It doesn't hurt to learn a little bit about how Ticketmaster operates and learn about what you can do to increase your chances at getting these tickets. Because when it comes down to it, the resellers understand these things and the fans don't. So if you're a fan watching this, pay attention. Hopefully I can teach you some tips so you can avoid paying ridiculous amounts just to go see the artist you love. All right, moving forward. Another thing which I love about this industry is the low barrier to entry. You don't need a ton of money to start reselling tickets. I see people talk about this a lot. People think you gotta have thousands of dollars and lots of capital to start reselling tickets. This is just how people cope with missing out on this industry. You can start reselling tickets with just like $100 to $200. I've seen people start with less. I've seen people start with nothing. And you may be wondering, like, how do I start off with nothing? Like, no upfront costs, right? Don't you need to buy tickets in the first place and then resell them after? For the most part, yes, you will be buying tickets and then reselling them. But people can also make lots of money reselling pre-sale codes. You can make thousands of dollars on releases, winning all these pre-sale codes and then selling them to other resellers. And this won't cost you any upfront initial investment on your end. Obviously, if you have lots of capital coming in, right, that's always a good thing. You can be more flexible with which events you go for, and you can buy more tickets, stuff like that. But also, if your pockets aren't the deepest, whether you're starting out with nothing, maybe 50 to $100, you can definitely snowball yourself up. And then once you have made enough money to join the big boys, you'll already have some events under your belt and some more knowledge, which money can't buy. Another great thing about ticket reselling is that you can do it anywhere. You guys aren't restricted to your physical location. Meaning, as long as you guys got a device, an internet connection, you're good to go. You can resell tickets in the UK. You can live in Canada and resell tickets for shows in the US, vice versa. Also, ticket reselling is time efficient. Now, obviously, you're going to have to put time and effort into this. Nothing good ever comes easy, guys, but this is as good and easy as it's going to get. Now, the more you get into it, the more time you're going to need to allocate into managing your listings. The more accounts you have, the more time you need to put into setting up for releases, signing up for pre-sales. But for the most part, the time and effort you're going to put into this is minimal compared to the amount of money you're going to make. Another great thing is the selling flexibility. It's completely up to you when you want to sell your tickets. For some events, it might be better to quick sell, meaning you're selling your tickets the day of or the day after you buy them. And for some events, it might be better to hold on to them. I really can't tell you what's the best because it's different for each event. Some platforms you sell on might hold your money longer than others, which you have to look out for. But overall, it's pretty flexible and up to you when and how you want to sell your tickets. Ticket flipping is also under-regulated. Now, there are laws that vary depending on where you are. So laws regarding reselling tickets vary state by state, and also the country you live in. There are different federal laws. And then there's also the Ticketmaster's terms of service. So do your own research. I'm not a professional legal consultant. You're going to have to go and hire one on your own. This is actually very interesting. Might as well talk about this now. Guys, the thing that's not allowed is botting. That's why in none of my videos, right, nothing in this guide will use botting. That's the big no-no. Using automated software that uses bots. Now, there are a few people out there that do it, but 99.99% of people don't even bother with bots. It's just a very small minority of people who do use them. And guys, pretty much every time, you're better off doing everything manually anyways. Bots are only used for very niche things. So even if we were allowed to use them, and if we were allowed to talk about them on YouTube, I don't even know if we would, right? Most people wouldn't even use them anyways. The manual methods I explain in the next video are the same methods that the pros and experts are doing. So don't worry, guys, you're not missing out. When it comes to how profitable this is, the main ways and the reasons why we make so much money is because Ticketmaster does a poor job at how they set up any of this. It's not rocket science to work around their mistakes. They don't make it hard at all. So we're fine capitalizing off of Ticketmaster's mistakes. That's totally okay. Okay, so whenever we're gonna go about buying tickets, almost always they're gonna be sold on Ticketmaster, sometimes on Live Nation and sometimes on AXS. Turns out Ticketmaster actually owns Live Nation, so pretty much we're only gonna be dealing with Ticketmaster. Once we learn Ticketmaster, we can effectively resell any tickets, right, for any kind of event. Ticketmaster has something we call a monopoly on the event industry. To further explain this and what this monopoly means, let's watch another clip because they do a better job at explaining it than I could.
Over the years, Ticketmaster has only gotten more powerful, especially after a 2010 merger with mega promoter Live Nation.
When you have this kind of monopoly power, when you have no competition, it discourages innovation, it degrades quality, it produces higher prices, all those things which are very harmful to consumers and to the quality of life that my constituents live and the quality of life of people all across this country.
According to Yale School of Management, Ticketmaster currently controls over 70% of the market for ticketing and live events.
You have the world's largest concert promoter that owns the world's largest ticketing company that also has a management group with about 100 managers and 450 of the world's best known and most talented artists. And this same company owns and operates venues. To a lot of people, this looks very much like a vertical monopoly.
The New York Times is reporting that the Justice Department is actually already looking into the company. They've been asking around for months about whether Ticketmaster engages in monopolistic practices.
Ticketmaster has a hugely dominant market position, so we're looking at this from both a consumer protection and antitrust perspective.
Even Jonathan Scrimetti, the Attorney General of Taylor's home state, is investigating the issue.
The concern is there is a huge incentive for people to game this system, and tickets in the tens of thousands of dollars appear to be somewhat common. So there's a huge markup here, and where people have that kind of incentive, we have to be awfully careful to make sure that there's nobody putting a thumb on the scales and getting a cut of that.
Now, what they just said about Ticketmaster is true. These are common arguments made against ticket resellers and Ticketmaster as a whole, and as much as people hate Ticketmaster for being unfair or unethical, they simply hold too much power within the ticket industry, so much so that artists are not only incentivized to use their platform to sell tickets, but they're almost forced to use Ticketmaster in order to be successful. Many people accuse them of partaking in unhealthy business practices, in particular turning a blind eye towards reselling. Guys, Ticketmaster takes a 10% cut whenever a ticket's resold, so they're making money off of it. Every resold ticket just deepens their pockets. Ticketmaster employees were even caught reselling tickets on their own. There were groups of high-ranked Ticketmaster employees that would make custom software and sell it to botters and brokers and stuff like that. Like, it's pretty dirty, guys, what they be doing. Theoretically, this is the perfect storm for somebody who resells tickets. You have a monopolistic platform that you know isn't going anywhere, who don't really care if you use their platform to make money. I mean, they literally have a sell button. This isn't anything new though. For over a decade, this has been a concern against Ticketmaster, and it's never been solved, and it's not changing anytime soon. So until somebody slays the dragon, ticket reselling, it's not going to change, right? Like, it's not going anywhere. That's kind of the harsh reality we live in. Now, it's funny because how it works is that the more obstacles they put in front of resellers and the more hoops they make them go through also make it harder for the average consumer or average concert fan. And if scalpers and resellers understand these obstacles better than the average consumer, that means that resellers can actually have a better chance at getting tickets than the loyal fan or loyal customer. Alright guys, as we move on, we gotta talk about the hardest parts about ticket reselling. Having all the resources and being able to stay up to date. You're gonna find that there's a huge lack of information on the internet in terms of anything useful for resellers. Like simply just knowing which events are gonna do well. It's very important. Just because an event or artist is big doesn't mean the event's gonna be profitable. For example, recently there was Beyonce and many Ed Sheeran shows that didn't resell for anything. They were dog shit. And the same works vice versa, in the sense that there are so many profitable events that fly under the radar, like niche events, underground artists, all kinds of stuff. You'll also need to know which seats to buy. I kind of touched on this earlier, but some events you're only going to make profit if you cop the right seats, and many events you're going to be making way more if you get the right seats. For example, we were doing Coldplay a couple months ago, and if you got the wrong section, you only turned like a couple $100 profit, versus if you got the right section, you profited thousands. And since every event is different in terms of how the venue/stadium's laid out, how pricing's allocated, capacities, tour info, all that stuff, there's a bunch of info that goes into which seats and section you're going to want to buy. For some events, we want the up-close desirable seats like the general admission, row ones, but for others, we want the upper bowl or cheaper seats. And sometimes you want to meet somewhere in the middle. Furthermore, early access codes can be hard to find. Artists, they will cancel, they will postpone, they will add new events to their tour, and they will restock tickets, which is super, super, super important. And that's pretty much why I made Ticket Notify, where we do all of that stuff for you. Ticket Notify, it's the Discord server I mentioned at the beginning of the video. We used to use Slack, but recently we've switched on over to Discord. Our group, it's essentially a think tank full of ticket resellers. So if there are good events coming up, we'll analyze the risk for each one and tell you guys which to prioritize. And for these events, we tell you when it's releasing, how it's releasing. We'll give you links early on ahead of time, tell you the resale price per ticket, expected profit per ticket, give you any special early access codes, codes for limited pre-sales, tell you which seats in which section to buy, tell you when tickets are restocking, everything under the sun in terms of making money reselling tickets. So if shit were to happen and change with the Ticketmaster's algorithm, for example, the Discords where I'll be updating you guys. Instead of me having to make a whole nother video, which I don't mind doing, it'll just take longer, right? Editing, I'm gonna be honest, it takes some work, guys. But yeah, the server, it's ran by my team and I. We've been in the resale game for quite some time now. Pretty much we do all of the research for you, give you all of the up-to-date insider info. We give you our expertise to save you guys time and make you more money. That's kind of the point of it. And arguably just as important is the community aspect. Being able to ask questions, surround yourself with fellow resellers and like-minded individuals is probably one of the best ways to learn and excel. So whether you're a beginner and you're looking for people to guide you, or if you're already advanced and you need that insider info, we got you. So if you guys want to head over, right, ticketnotify.org to sign up, and I'll even give 50% off for those watching this series. So use code NOTIFY50 upon checkout for 50% off your membership. Okay, I know I'm yapping, but if you're already in tickets, right, you kind of know how it works. 95% of resellers are already in a group. At least the good ones are anyways. That's kind of how it works. That's how everybody stays up to date and gets the info they need. There are other groups out there, so just like everything in life, guys, do your own research. I used to be a couple in the past before I made Ticket Notify, but I just found that they gatekeep info, right? I would have to join like 2 or 3 at the same time just to get everything I needed. But perhaps things have changed, right? That's up for you guys to decide. Ticket Notify is definitely one of the cheapest options out there, especially if you use that 50% off. And we're a group dedicated towards ticket reselling. We're not trying to flip Amazon products. We're not trying to flip no Pokemon cards. Our sole focus is tickets, and we're out here trying to provide the best group available for that. And this is kind of why I'm so passionate about tickets in general. It's because this is something you don't want to overlook. It's not being talked about as much as it should. You only hear about the bad parts, like how consumers get angry, but nobody talks about the good parts. Yeah, just like everything in life, guys, if you're motivated and somewhat driven, you're going to be successful doing whatever. But I guarantee you, if you funnel that energy towards ticket reselling, you're not going to regret it. So yeah, our platform used to be on Slack for the past couple years, but recently we moved on over to Discord, which is a bit more familiar to the masses. So if you're already in Ticket Notify and you're wondering where everything went, right, check the Slack server and you'll see a link to the new Discord server where I've moved everything, and that's where I'll be posting all the information from now on. 95% of people have already joined the Discord, but there still is a few people who haven't. So if you're one of those people, check your DMs and you should be good to go. Because I don't want you guys missing out on anything, because we got a couple good events coming up soon, which I'm super, super excited about, and you guys will be too. Okay, very quickly, I just want to go over the different types of events we encounter and get you guys a bit familiar with the Ticketmaster website. Okay, now, if I head over to Ticketmaster's website, here we can see popular events in my area categorized by different genres. In practice, don't restrict yourself to only your area, but for now, I'm just giving you guys a feel for the website. We can resell all kinds of tickets, like I mentioned earlier, right? So sports games, comedy shows, concerts, art shows, it really doesn't matter, right? As long as it comes down to the 2 things, the demand, aka the hype, and number 2, if possible, the supply, aka low seating capacities. I find the ones down here, family, arts, and theater, it tends to be pretty mundane. Don't spend too much time here unless something really stands out. You can still make money down here, but you're going to want to wait for, your Dave Chappelle shows or something like that. But if something comes across my desk, I'll make sure to let you guys know. And then if you scroll up here, we got sports. Sports are good. A lot of people sleep on sports, and you don't want to sleep on sports because most do well. UFC, for example, has been getting very popular these past few years. And then obviously we got the main 4, basketball, football, baseball, hockey. Now, regular seasons aren't anything special, But then we got playoffs, and playoffs are a hit or miss. You're not going to make money on every single game. It really comes down to the exact game that's happening where we can make money. They are all year round though, which is nice. We got baseball playoffs in the fall, Super Bowl is in January, and then NHL and NBA in the spring. So plenty of material to keep you guys busy. College basketball is also really good. I've seen my members make huge profits for NCAA. But anything goes, guys. The main thing, especially for sports, which I can't stress enough, is to put yourself in the shoes of the consumer. If you're in my Discord, my team and I will be updating you guys every day on which events to look out for, which events are going to be good, including which seats and section to buy for all events, concerts, sports, everything. But it's also important that you guys analyze the events you find yourself, because maybe you find something I don't. There's always going to be money to be made out there. Even if you guys are new to ticket reselling, maybe you don't have much capital and you don't want to take any unnecessary risks, talk to other members, ask them what they think. I mean, we all eat together, boys. All right, up here, concerts. Probably the best type of tickets to resell. Big name artists are going on tour every month all year around. Not only are concerts in such high demand, but they have some of the most passionate fans who are willing to pay ridiculous amounts to go see their favorite artist. And I get it, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, but hey, it can be concerning watching them outbid each other. Like, I didn't know Morgan Wallen was that popular. Made me wonder if I was the one missing out selling my tickets. But yeah, obviously not every concert is gonna do well. Be careful of dynamic pricing or premium platinum seats, which I'll get into later. Essentially what this is Ticketmaster sets a specific price for each seat depending on where it is in the venue or stadium. You're gonna find that concerts mostly give us a consistent supply of good events where you're gonna make hundreds or thousands, with the occasional god tier event that's gonna make you want to quit your job, which I don't recommend doing, by the way. Not yet, at least. But perhaps you are a consumer yourself, right? Maybe you're into tennis or you're following this underground artist and you're like, hey, nobody's talking about this and I know it's gonna sell out. Follow your gut, guys. If your gut is telling you, hey, this is really important, like this is gonna be a good event to watch out for, you know what, go for it. Or ask us our opinion, right? There are gonna be profitable events happening all the time that, a lot of people might not be talking about. So keep your eye out for those. Okay, so when we find out which events to target and which to go for, it's also good to prepare for the event and take a look at some useful information that can help us maximize profits. So once we found an event we like, we get information like what type of event is it? A, it uses verified fan presale, or B, it doesn't. We also get information like the event dates, concert locations, and the date and time of release. And all this information can be used to maximize profits from each of our tickets. So we've taken a look at Ticketmaster's website, and let's look at their Twitter. I bet we can find an example on the spot. All right, let's take a look. Okay, yeah, earlier today, Ticketmaster announced they're adding more dates for Enrique, Pitbull, and Ricky's tour. And this happens pretty often where artists add extra show dates to their tour. So if you weren't lucky enough to get tickets for the original tour or events, keep your eye out for restocks because you can also have a chance at those as well. So pretty much they've already set out their tour dates, but they're adding more events, more shows to their tour. And look right here, we also get a link to sign up for a verified fan presale. So we know what kind of event it is, right? We're gonna have to use presale to sign up. And if you look, the presale hasn't started yet, which is good. I'm recording this in advance, so when you're watching this, the presale probably already finished. I'll get into more what presale means later in the next stage, but for now, what we wanna do is understand the information at hand. So for locations, they're going on tour, right? So if we look, there's about 25 different shows going on, and we can see the dates too. It tells us which day of the week each concert takes place. Now, ideally, shows on the weekends or on a Friday tend to be the most profitable since, people got more time to do fun things on the weekends. People are more inclined to go out to concerts, sports games, stuff like that on a weekend or on a Friday. Also, take note on the targeted audience. Pitbull's from Miami, which means he probably has a huge fan base there. So it would make sense to target his shows in Miami, Florida. He's got two, right, in Miami, right here, November 10th and the 11th, which are on a Friday and Saturday. Perfect, that pans out to what we're looking for. Now, the only negative thing about this scenario is that there are two shows in Miami, and he's doing a lot of shows. And you might be thinking, well, isn't that a good thing, right? We can get tickets for both of them. Yeah, but there's also more supply, meaning If you're a Pitbull fan and you're living in Miami, you have a bigger window to get your hands on tickets, which could drive down the profit margins. Now, if the artist is really popular, it doesn't matter. This information is mostly used to maximize the profits we're already making. Here are some things to look out for, and this is what I teach my members. Look out for event capacities, right? I'll say it again. How many shows are they doing? Is there a lot of supply? The day of the week, is it on a Tuesday or Saturday? Shows on a weekend or Friday tend to have better profit returns. The artist's hometown, right? In this case, it was Pitbull. He's from Miami. We want to take a look at that. And then the targeted audience as well. If it's a country artist or like a country singer, you want to look for shows in maybe like Dallas, Texas, or Tennessee. Let's set an example of what a perfect storm might look like. Let's say that there's a very popular Chicago drill artist going on tour. So he's going on tour and we want to make money off of him. And when we look at his tour dates, we notice that when he gets to Chicago, he's doing one concert there on a Saturday, which happens to be at a smaller venue. If you're looking to buy tickets for this artist, guys, this is the show you want to go for. If you're able to check out tickets for this concert, you're going to want to buy as many as you want. Ticketmaster usually allows you to purchase multiple tickets per person. So whether if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if you load up your cart on an event like this is how we make thousands on a release. And that's with only one account/entry. Okay, guys, this is just about going to wrap up part 1. And you may be thinking, this Ticketman Zach guy has only hovered over the topic of ticket reselling and hasn't actually gone into how to do it and what it looks like. Don't worry, guys. My intention for today was only to get you familiar with what ticket reselling is, why it's so profitable. We talked about the types of shows, as well as tips on venue selections. So in the next video, we're going to pivot. We're going to get into the nitty-gritty where we're actually going to see how everything works. The rest of the series, part 2 and part 3, are going to be the most important parts of this guide, which you're going to want to pay attention to. Follow everything here on out and you'll already be in the top 10% of resellers. In particular, I'm going to teach you guys how the Ticketmaster's queue and algorithm works, how to set up, target, and take advantage of each type of event with different strategies and methods, and how to bypass common obstacles, and what buying and selling tickets actually looks like. So thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. Make sure to head over to ticketnotify.org for all the resources ticket reselling. This has been part 1 of the complete guide on how to resell tickets. My name is Ticketman Zach. Peace.